How the fuck do I change the camera?
Oh my God, you did the fade out so nicely.
Fade out. Fade out.
Even though you're very faded.
Fade. Yeah, I'm high. Hi.
Hey,
But hey, I'm going to remember things first. Sponsors. Thank you. Pixel Popcorn Media Group, Unscripted Studios.
and
That's
that is
it. That's it. So today we're going to jump into another episode of Bullshit, one of the segments of the series of the things that we do about the stuff. And I don't have any plan today, so I just smoked a bowl.
Perfect plan.
And we'll see what spills out. I think, it'd be interesting maybe to talk about, and I don't know how, I think I told you the story maybe, about how me and Chris actually got going with our friendship.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know. I don't think we've talked about it like on here.
Well, right.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So, friendship is friendship, and you meet people and you don't know how or where you're going to meet them or how far that friendship will go, where
True.
it's going to take you. If nothing else, you hope that you're both kind of on the same page as how to be a friend, even if it's a shitty friend. If you're shitty and they're shitty, it's still a comparable friendship, and it's even and equal, and that's okay.
Kind of sucks when one is shitty and one's not.
Yeah, well, those are the friends that you just don't fucking call back. It's like, oh, do you want to go? No,
Yeah.
I'm actually busy every time you ask me to do something.
Crazy. I'm sick that day.
For forever. Which I've told people that to their face. It gets a weird reaction because they think you're joking, but then you never respond to them again, and they realize it was true. Yeah, they're not ready. Sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes you go and you just give it your all. You kick the fucking shit out of a boxing bag.
Metaphorically speaking.
Well, yeah. But there was that one guy that I saw. He fucking kicked the bag off the chain. That thing blew my mind.
That thing was fucking crazy.
Yeah, the bag wasn't ready.
He was shocked. He was like,
I know. He wasn't ready. The bag wasn't ready. But sometimes, even when you're sloppy and fat, you want to kick a bag, and y'all ain't ready. So, metaphorically, as you mentioned, ain't ready. And but yeah, so you never know where a friendship's going to take you. Sometime it may lead you down a road of, who am I because this person is in my life?
right.
Or, this person has enriched my life in such a way by being their friend that I'm thankful I met them. And that would be my friend Chris, who will talk about our genesis today, so to speak. And this kind of goes in segments because I started working for Chris. I met him off of Craigslist. At the time, I wasn't looking for a best friend. I was looking for a job that wasn't like a scam.
Right.
And when I first got to Arizona, I used to be a medical tissue banking specialist, certified, listening to really interesting conversations about dead people every day. And that sucked my soul out so much that it was how I ended up here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And certain things happened on my last day at work. And then the management.
Did you end with a fuck you?
No, it wasn't. Actually, that's interesting because it is literally the one job that I didn't leave saying "fuck you," which is my signature move.
Yeah.
And only because I'm a good employee. And up until the moment that I feel abused past a certain level, that's when you just hit the "fuck you."
Sure.
And that's my dad. That's Chris Cleary. Chris Cleary is fuck you, but he's like way quicker to fuck you. He's like, fuck you. You said one thing I don't like. Fuck you. And which I admire that about him because I dealt with way more crap than I probably should have at some of those jobs before I told them to go fuck themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
But I've also had very weird experiences with that, and I'm on a tangent now. But I have told a guy go fuck yourself. And he called me up to his office to fire me. I knew it was coming. So I was in the dining room of the men's grill at the golf club I was working at the time in Florida. And I just loosened my tie. I started walking up to his office. I was
you went Fight Club with it. You're just like,
yeah, I knew it was over.
Yeah.
And I really didn't even have to go talk to him because I had already told him, fuck you. It's like, I knew.
Yeah.
It was over.
It was basically, oh, fuck you. And then he's like, you
was
should
the
come
end.
see me in my office. It's like, can't we just do this right here?
Yeah, and so I went and saw him in his office, and I told him it was bullshit how things were going, and there was a girl that worked in the wedding side of the thing, and she got favorable treatment because she was good looking and had huge boobs that she left out on display all the time. And I knew that he was doing like copious amounts of cocaine, and I just started laying it all out there in this meeting with him, and he's looking at me like, this isn't going the way I wanted it to.
He's like, oh, fuck.
And I'm like, I'm firing myself.
Right.
And
well, that's
and
how everyone gets fired, is they fire themselves.
purging information. And two, I'm like, and if you want to do anything about disparaging my reputation when I go to talk to the next person, I might talk about some stuff. And so, he looked at me and we kind of had an exchange, and he shook my hand and he said, I know that you will be more successful than me one day in your life. And I said, I know too. And I left.
Such a gangster move, though. You're just like, I know.
Well, because at the time I was 21. I had 2 full-time jobs. I was still trying to juggle school, even though I knew it was bad for me because I didn't care.
Right.
And, that guy was just doing cocaine and trip-dicked his way into a bar management job.
Sounds like a lot of people I know.
Yeah, and so, like, I was just like, of course, like, you don't have to, that's like saying the obvious thing. Like, I wipe my ass after I shit. Great, right. I know.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me that. So,
thanks for the information,
But anyhow, so Chris, I came to Arizona after I was working in the medical field and hid out in the Appalachian Mountains, or Appalachian, or however the fuck you want to say it. I was hiding there, all mountains.
Yeah.
In certain places in Arizona. I'm sure we've got the Lost Dutchman. He's still alive somewhere, killing people. Yeah, I know. It should be a horror movie. I think it might even be.
That'd be kind of cool.
A horror movie. So I came to Arizona looking for a new start. And Arizona has this weird charm about it when you first get here, when you're from Florida.
It's dry.
Well, let's just start with a highway that is completed. Okay.
That's fair.
So like
From California, same thing.
Yeah, so because I grew up in Florida, and the I-4 is still under construction.
No shit.
It's been under construction my whole life. It will probably be under construction for the rest of everybody's lives. And whoever struck that deal with the Florida government to build that road got the sweetest deal ever, because they've had residual income for centuries.
Yeah.
I mean, so good for them. But so I came out here and I saw all the roads were completed, and they had like art
That is actually
on the overpasses.
Yeah, some of that shit's really fucking cool. Like in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, like they're etched in
Yeah.
to the concrete and things, and then there's fucking cactus.
Oh, there's like
and
actual like art too. Like I think
rocks.
it's in, like, downtown Phoenix. Like they're spray painted all over their murals. It's super cool.
Well, yeah, that's Phoenix, but that's the whole thing there. But I'm just talking about driving on the highway.
All the Coco Pelli
and just everything, and it was, to me, it was a brand new world. I've never seen this, and so I was charmed by Arizona the first time I came here. Later to find out it was fucking terrible. I'm sorry when you're like you look at your front door and your hand starts burning because it's 108 million degrees out. Yeah, you're singeing inside, and I realized, okay, well, this is not the best decision I ever made. And then I started trying to get a job, and that was, to this day, one of the most humbling experiences still for me is I was 27 years old. Yes, I don't have a college degree, but I also never thought I'm a complete moron and I'm unhirable and I'm like not worth investing in. And I guess that's when I realized, well, I didn't make the right steps to invest in myself for other people to see. Mm-hmm. I should invest in this person too. So I had to start at the fucking bottom, like the very bottom. And I took a bunch of weird jobs. My shortest job in my entire life came here in Arizona.
Okay.
I was employed for an hour and a half.
Oh, nice. I was thinking like a week.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
Was it an hour and a half? Maybe it was 2.5 hours. So I was the guy who would call you up and say, "Is your air conditioner working?" Okay. And so I get to this place and I am sitting down and the lady is going to start training me. And the job that I had done previously, directly before this, was working with hospitals, nurses, doctors, people in the blood bank,
Right.
coroners, medical examiners, funeral home directors,
So people that all want to get right to
serious
the point.
people.
Yeah.
And I was triaging around information that would help somebody become a donor for their organs and skin and stuff after they died. My job was intense and it was serious and it was on a deadline and it was up to the minute. And if I fucked it up, I fucked it up.
Right.
You know, I fucked up somebody's potential maybe if I didn't pay attention to get a heart.
Right.
Yay, I might have killed somebody today. So when I sat down at the desk to start setting appointments for air conditioning, I didn't feel any sense of stress or urgency
Not
or
the biggest-
anything that I could do would cause a cataclysmic failure and fuck somebody's whole life up.
Right.
I didn't feel that way because
Gasp.
it wasn't stressful. And so I sat down with the lady training me and I looked at what they told me and I asked how the training program went. And she said, well, usually we'll train you for about 2 weeks on the process and then we'll let you start taking phone calls. But if it's not working out, we'll back it off and we should be able to get you on the phones by a month. And I'm like, that's not going to work for me. Like, it's not.
Right.
I can't sit here and read this pamphlet of stupidity for 2 weeks and pretend like I can't pick up a phone.
Because all of it's fucking stupid.
And so basically how it went, I'm sitting with this lady and I said, okay, I will do this, but I want to kind of make a deal with you if we could. And she's like, what? I said, well, let me ask you a question. I click that button and then my headphones start to ring and it's calling a house. She's like, yeah, that's right. I said, okay. Now, if they answer, do I start asking them these questions in order that are on the computer and then filling in the prompt? Well, yeah. I said, okay, cool. I said, and then if they do not answer, do I click this button here that says did not answer? Yeah. Okay, cool. I would like to take a phone call. I've been there for like 8 minutes.
we just can't do that right now.
No, so that's exactly what she said. She said, well, we really need you to be trained, and I need to go through this with you to make sure that you really understand. And I said, okay, let me try again. I said, so I hit this button, and then the phone will ring.
Such an asshole.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah. I said, okay. And then I ask them these questions, and I fill in the blanks. Yeah. Okay. And then if they don't answer, I hit this button that says did not answer. Yeah. Okay, cool. I would like to take a phone call. And I just stared at her.
Just like
Yeah, like you let me take a phone call.
a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, like, okay. So I convince her to let me take a phone call. And she's like, you're sure you're ready? I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready. You have to understand, like, when I was doing my job at Lifelink, I shouldn't use company names, but when I was doing my job there, I probably took 1,000 fucking phone calls a day.
Right. Yeah, you're a busy guy.
And
like,
put all that information in a logical fashion so that if I had to leave and wasn't resolved with my case by the end of my shift, I could hand it to somebody.
and they would know where the
And
fuck
it was
to
a
take
roadmap to the truth of what's happening.
Right.
This thing, I just click a button
Ooh.
and fill in the box. So I took the phone call, and surprisingly, I did really well at the phone call. I actually talked to a person.
I wouldn't have had any idea you would have done well.
So
Seems like a hard concept.
here's what happens. I guess the rest of the office was incredibly curious about who is this man that they have brought here
Who is
to work.
Not
Like,
done any training.
after I hung up the phone, I hear applause.
I was about to make the joke because I thought it'd be so far fetched and stupid.
No,
Like,
No, really.
I can't think of what it is, but like there's so many movies where it's like there's that person like on the phone and it's like they make that big sale and everyone's fucking cheering for them.
Yeah,
So this was you.
that happened. But in this scenario, it was only like 5 fat white ladies.
Wow.
So they were clapping.
They equal.
Well, because, yeah, they were clapping on multiple
Oh,
levels.
Jesus.
Yeah. Clapping hands, clapping
Clapping
cheeks,
cheeks.
clapping flaps.
Clapping
It
elbows.
was all kinds of things going on. And so this is happening to me, and I can't take it.
Right.
So I'm like, now I've got this nervous energy about me because I was like, I do not belong here. I have to go.
Yeah, you're like, this is not for me.
And so I look at the lady training me, and I said, "Hey, do you guys take cigarette breaks?" And she goes, "Yeah." "Do you smoke?" I said, "No, I don't." "But when is the break? When's the cigarette break?" And she said 10:30. So I did. I worked 2.5 hours.
Okay.
She said 10:30.
Took a cigarette break and never came back.
I took a forever break.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're just like, where is Patrick? It's been 17 years.
Yeah. It has.
Still not here.
It has, and I never went back. But that was like a job that I got when I first got here.
Right.
And I was like, where the fuck am I? So then the next job that I went and interviewed on, and see, now I said we're going to talk about Chris, and I'm high.
Right.
So it's not going that way right now, but we'll get there. But the second job I took was management. And I found out in Arizona there's a lot of management opportunities. And so, and I took this one very seriously because they told me that I needed to be wearing a shirt and tie for the interview. And I was like, oh, usually they don't fucking tell you. If they're telling me I need to wear this, then this could be serious. I might have found something. I might have
Right.
found a real diamond in the rough. And so I get there, and there's like that stereotypical black leather fucking love seat
Ooh.
that is in the foyer of this area.
Is this a porno?
And then that's how I really felt. I was like, wait,
You're like-
what? I mean, am I going to be managing my dick? Like,
I mean,
so I'm sitting on this little thing, and the girl comes out to the reception desk, and she's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Well, I set an appointment." And so I found out that there was like 40 other potential managers
oh, nice.
interviewing that day. So like people start like it was the weirdest thing. I felt like I was in a queue for a doctor. As you sit down, and then they take you and they put you in a different room, and it's just a chair and a chair across, and it's like, oh, I'm about to get interviewed. Okay, fine. And then you're in that room for a while, and I don't know if they intentionally leave you with the door sitting open so that you see people, like ton of people walking
Right.
by.
To see like
and
how you're going to react to the potential, like, I guess, nervousness or anxiety with that.
whatever it was, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, fuck, like how big is this company? Because there's a bunch of people that are really dressed up really nice and coming to interview, and I'm thinking, am I involved like some kind of startup that really has made a mark already, and they're aggressive about growing? I didn't know. And so they take me out of the interview room. Nobody talked to me until they came to get me back out of there. And then they take me to this other room. And they open the door, and there are like all 40 of these fucking people in there, all dressed up. And so I go and I sit down, and I'm sitting there, and there's nobody else in there but us. And so, you cut the tension with a knife, and that's me. I'm the knife.
Yep.
So
What'd you do?
so I was like, hey, so what the fuck do we think we're all here for? And everybody's kind of like, huh? They look at me like,
Yeah,
dude,
like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
shh, be quiet. We don't know. People get really nervous when they don't know what they're doing.
it's true.
And so do I, but I can't sit there in silence and be like,
No, you're too paranoid to do
I don't
that.
know what I'm doing. Why am I here? Why are all you people around me? What's going on? So I have to say something. And so I kind of started a conversation, and nobody knew what the fuck they were doing there. And all of a sudden, this fucking guy enters the room with just fucking hard energy, crazy energy. And he's running around the room. He's high-fiving everyone.
Oh my God.
Fucking high five guy. High five, high five, high five, high five. Hey, who's happy to be here? And he's fucking screaming. And I was like,
Everyone's like, what the fuck is happening?
yeah, and I smoke a lot of weed. And so I'm like,
You're like, too high for this, dude.
this guy's way out of my range. Like, woo, and he,
Flair style. Woo!
I mean, for real, he was so crazy. And then like he does his high five thing. He gets as many hands as he possibly can. I'm like, okay, cool. He's really fucking excited. This is going to be weird. And so then he runs up to the front of the room where there's this big whiteboard and he goes, does anybody know what the third biggest industry in the world is? I'm like, well, I don't know what the first two
Yeah,
are.
like cigarettes, maybe? I don't fucking know.
It is fragrances.
Okay.
The fragrance industry, and I don't know if that still holds true, but 17 years ago, apparently it was.
Sure.
And so, like, I was like, all right, so am I working for Chanel or I don't know.
Garnier
A lot.
Fructis.
Oh, okay. I was saying, I don't know a lot of names of things.
That's all I got.
Aqua, no.
Four?
Oh, Giorgio Armani. That's
Oh, okay.
that's where I was going with that one.
With
Anyway,
Aquaphor? What?
yeah, Aqua di Gio. That's the
okay.
man. That's the only man cologne I could wear without having an asthma attack. So technically, I never wear any scented anything, and I smell like a caveman. And that's probably why I have very few friends. But that's a different story altogether. So I'm in this room. I am now thinking I'm getting involved with possibly a Fortune 500 fragrance company, and I'm almost as excited as this guy mentally. I'm not going to run around the room doing high fives, but I was like, okay, cool. This could be neat. It was not neat.
Door-to-door sales.
I wish it was just door-to-door sales because then I could pretend that I knocked on the doors.
How is that worse? Or how is anything worse than this?
Well, this job required me to break a fundamental rule, which at this point in my life, it's a fucking law that my dad imparted on me, which is you always get fucked when you don't drive.
Right.
Okay? If you guys take nothing else away from this video, take that away. You always get fucked when you don't drive.
Absolutely. You've done it to me.
I know.
Yeah. Like,
I know.
funny, but
in the spirit of Chris Cleary,
yeah.
if you're in my whip, you might get fucked for not driving.
Yeah.
I might decide to go to 17 other places I didn't think of.
Yeah. And either way, like, it's still enjoyable and fun, but it's like, there are times you're like, oh, fuck, like, wasn't expecting that.
And so the job was I had a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I had two other people in a vehicle with me that were also in training. And then this girl would drive us to places and dispatch us into areas to try to sell this knockoff fucking perfume and cologne to people on the street.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To people in stores. I was trying to sell cologne to a guy at fucking Blimpie Sub Shop while he was making a sandwich because the girl told me to. Right. She's like, that's your job. You got to do it.
No.
So I'm doing this for like maybe a week, and it's in the summer, and they make you wear a shirt and tie to make it more insulting.
Of course.
So you look like a Mormon. No offense, Mormons, but I look like you.
Technically, you are.
I've been baptized that way.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So that's another story too.
Yeah.
Religion, though, I don't know. Religion's so polarizing. I feel like I never touch it.
So summer, shirt and tie, selling cologne,
backpack full of knockoff stuff, and so like, they had the most archaic thing. They're like, possession is 9/10 of the law. So if you're able to get it into somebody's hand, the likelihood of them buying it goes up exponentially. I'm like,
fuck that.
I'm not sure that's true.
No.
At all.
Well, because I know me and I know you, where it's like, if you go to a place like Mexico, they have done that to both of us. And your response is, cool, thank you.
Yeah, we'll see, because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
So when somebody puts something in my hand, I'm like, and especially because I was at the Mayan temples, I thought it was like a temple gift.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
and I kept walking, but they kept following me. I was like, oh, you want money? No, thank you.
Yeah.
I gave it back.
But
so that's true. Possession was 9/10 of the law, but the last 10th is paying for that shit you don't want. I didn't do that part. But yeah, so that was another job I had. And I remember one day she took us to the ASU campus and right into the quad. And she's like, I want you to go up to those girls and try to sell them our version of DKNY apples. I think that's
Don't even know what the fuck
what
that
it was
is.
called. It's some perfume that was popular.
Sure.
And I looked at the girl and I said, no. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, no, I'm not doing that one. Have one of the other ones take a turn.
Yeah.
No. You know, and plus she had me like go into a hippie shop and try to sell that to them, and I was like, "This is so insulting. I really want to buy a pipe.
Yeah.
And I don't want. I don't want to. Sell,
You're like, I want to buy from him.
I don't want to
not
sell
the other
them
way around.
anything. Yeah, I want to make friends with these people potentially. They look kind of cool, but I look like a douche. So now I'm done. They don't like me, and so I said no. And she looked at me and she goes, "Well, if you don't do it, we're gonna have to let you go."
Okay.
I said, "Oh, well, I mentally checked out days ago, but that's fine." And she's just
if
like,
you must.
she's perplexed. And because in her mind, because she was training me, she thought she was doing something special. But it's like, no, you're still just a jackass slinging this stuff. And if nobody trains with you and doesn't do it for the day, you have to do it.
Right.
Because you still have to meet the metrics of selling your knockoff shit that nobody wants.
Right.
And so we're having this kind of little staring contest, and she's like, "You're really not going to do it?" I said, "I am absolutely not. Not doing it. Sorry." And she goes, "Okay, I guess I got to let you go." I'm like, "All right, well, thank you."
It's been real.
And then she goes, "But there's one thing you didn't think of."
She's
how-
trying to hit you with like the extra like Uno card, like haha.
Well, she thought, I guess. She goes, "How are you going to get home?"
Cab, walk.
That's
Uber.
what I said. I was like, "I will call a cab."
Like,
Uber wasn't a thing at the time,
oh, gotcha.
but I could call Yellow Cab.
Yeah, like
And she kind of just was like,
you're also in downtown Tempe. Like,
"Yeah, it's
walk
not
outside and go, yo.
it's not hard to get home." And so we parted ways, and I said, "Do you want me to split up these perfumes and cologne among everybody's backpacks? Because I'm keeping my backpack, obviously.
Right.
Here's my stuff." And we parted our ways, and I was like, "Oh, great, Arizona! Like, come to Arizona,
Yeah, really. living that
land of
dream.
opportunity. Fuck this place." And so like that was a job that I had, and then I had a job where it was another management opportunity. Like I said, a lot of management opportunities.
Yeah,
and
we call that
so
entry level.
yeah, so I get to this place, and I have no idea what I'm going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy tells me, what the job really is that you are cold calling general contractors, and you are trying to sell them tools or ancillary things that go with the tools, like saw blades and stuff like that.
Right.
All right. I was like, okay, I grew up with my dad. He's a contractor, so I at least understand what these things are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel completely out of my depth with the situation. And I said, oh, okay, I think I could do that. And so we get in there. Did I tell you this?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is. People don't think about things a lot that they're doing. They don't even question what they're doing. And so the first thing I noticed when they took me back to like the bullpen area where you're about to start calling people is that they were blaring heavy metal music.
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, I'm personally in hell right now. This is not my style of music, and
Right.
it is way too loud. Even if I liked this music, I don't think
do it.
I would play it at this volume. It's like ear bleeding decibel levels.
Yeah, no. Hard pass.
So no thank you." And so like I sit down with the trainer guy, and he goes, "All right, you ready to get going?" I was like, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, how's anybody going to hear anything we're saying? Like, this music is loud.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Oh no, it's like that. It's fine." He goes, and they have these things like noise cancelers on the phone. So like
Why not just
that's cool,
turn down the music?
but now to get the person on the other end of the phone to hear you, you actually have to basically be screaming into the phone. And I was like, "Oh man, this is like so outside of my character at
Yeah,
all."
no.
Like, I don't like cold calling people, which is funny because Chris forced me to do that later.
It's actually
At the beginning of starting our company, he forced me to, and I'm glad that he forced me to, because I learned it's not as bad if what you're selling is actually worthwhile.
true.
It's fine. If I believe in the product, I have no problem calling somebody and selling the product. If I don't, it's an issue.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm calculating all of this in my mind and thinking, so I'm going to have to listen to heavy metal music every day. I'm going to have to scream at people every day. And I'm selling boxes of fucking Sawzall blades to people that don't necessarily want or care for them.
Right.
This is fucking terrible. So we sit down. And the guy goes, okay, I just want you to read through the script and kind of familiarize yourself with it. I want you to get comfortable with it, and we're gonna practice saying it a couple times. Okay, so I read the script. What the fuck is this? I looked at the guy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I say that to people? He's like, yeah, that's what we say.
And it was.
I was like, this is what I have to scream at people. This is what I say. So it starts out like this. Hi, whoever the fuck answered the phone.
Sure.
Have you ever wanted a 24 karat gold plated Cadillac? What?
Huh?
No. Fucking no one. Maybe one person wants that. That's how I open my call.
But then at that point, then it's like, so me is like the receiving end of that call. I'm going to go, no, spam, and hang up.
No shit.
Yeah.
Which is what 90% of people did. The
Right.
10% that hung on probably missed that.
Right.
So
They just heard hi and got deaf for a second.
yeah, so I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, I really read it. Like, this is not a joke.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is our script.
Who came up with it?
I just asked him, I said, do you realize it's fucking stupid? This is the stupidest thing I've ever read, that I have to read to people to sell things. So I did it for a week. I made a sale.
I mean,
You know,
kudos.
I did. It wasn't Sawzall blades. I saw table saw.
Okay.
I sold a box of those things to somebody. They probably,
Diablo brand or something.
I don't even know. I don't know. But like, there were so many things wrong with that place. One of the things that they told me in the training was, if a woman picks up the phone, do not try to sell to her.
What are you supposed to be like? Is your husband around?
And I said, well, why not?
Yeah. What is this?
And-
Fucking 40s?
And so the guy was like, well, they just take too long to make a decision.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was like, okay.
False.
I'm like, that's dumb. Whatever. So, you know, I knew I wasn't going to make it here either.
Right.
So that job came and it went within a week. I was a bouncer for like
Forgot about that.
a shift.
Yeah.
You know, a shift
Wasn't
because
it like they tried to make you clean up everyone else's shit?
it's not they tried. I took, like I said, I will take abuse up to a certain level. Okay? And I hit my level there because I was the bouncer. And when everybody had been bounced from the building, I assumed my job was done. Because to me, that's fucking logical.
Yeah.
And so after the shift ended and my job was not done, I was like, oh, it's like this. So the manager guy comes up to me and he's like, I'm going to need you to go ahead and take out the trash. I was like, that's really part of the bouncer's responsibility? And he goes, yeah. And all of these bartender girls and guys that had been raking cash all night are literally counting their money. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, so do I get tip share? And the guy goes, no, the bouncer doesn't get tip share. I was like, do I get part of the door?
Right.
Well, no. I was like, why am I still working?
Yeah, what the fuck's
like
the
that's
point?
like I'm an hourly employee and my hourly obligations are fucking over, so I feel like I'm done. Anyway, I take out the trash. It's disgusting because in bars people throw away drinks that are half. So as I'm like fireman's
around.
carrying this giant bag of heavy trash, it explodes all over me, and I'm like drenched in everybody else's night, and with cigarette butts and all kinds of things in there. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. You know, I'm finished.
That's fair.
And so I go to the guy. I'm like, trash is out. Take it easy. And he's like, no, I need you to sweep the patio. Fuck. Okay, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I think my dad for a long time thought I was mentally handicapped because I suck at sweeping. I hate it. I hate to sweep anything. It is literally like my Achilles heel.
Fair.
I could look like the dumbest person in the room if you give me a broom and ask me to sweep.
That's me on a bike.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
But at least you have to learn that. With a broom, all you do is push. You just push.
I mean, people say the same thing with a bike.
But my dad would come back to his job sites at times, and like I'm supposed to sweep up the debris from the construction, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Because I got a pile over here, I got a pile over there, I got a pile over there, and I'm like, "Well, it doesn't make sense for me to push that all the way across. Why don't we just do this?" He's like, "Just put it in a fucking pile." I'm like, "Okay, put it in a pile, whatever." So the guy has me sweeping, and then on top of the fact that I hate sweeping and I'm just not good, I refuse to be good at sweeping. I will never learn to sweep. So I hate cigarettes. I'm sweeping the patio where all the smokers were just throwing their butts on the floor all night. And I'm like, this is making me so mad. I'm like, oh, man, this is my last night. Like, in my mind, I'm like, this is definitely my last night. And so I sweep. I finish sweeping. I go inside to the manager. I'm like, your place is clean. I have swept. I have taken out the trash. I'm going home. He's like, no, the last thing that I need you to do is I need you to polish the stanchions. And if you don't know what a stanchion is, it's like if you go to a movie premiere and you got the poles with the little velvet
ropes.
things in between them, those are stanchions. And I looked at him and I looked at like the 30 stanchions and I said, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I'm done for the night. Second of all, I don't polish pole for any fucking dude. All right? I'm out of here.
But like,
And he looked at me like, are you serious? And I'm like, I'm seriously serious. Have a good night. And I left.
I was gonna say, I mean, any bar I've ever been to, and like all the friends that I have that work at bars, those are all like their responsibilities to clean up and all that. Once it's, closing time, everyone gets out, bouncer leaves.
Yeah, that's for me. That's true. Because it's like, dude, you're not tipping me out.
Well, exactly. Why the fuck am I here?
Why would I clean up after everything that caused you guys to make a whole bunch of money tonight?
Right. It's like, unless you guys are gonna give me some of that, which I know you're not.
Yeah. So, anyways, I had that job, and fast forward a little bit, and this will kind of probably be the end of this one, but before I met Chris, which eventually turned into an incredibly viable, life-changing career, I probably had at least 10 jobs in a 45-day
Jesus Christ.
range of time.
Goddamn.
Well, I don't like to not be working.
True.
And I realized that my pension that I had cashed in from my last job wasn't going to last me for the rest of my life. It's not like I was making Bezos money or something,
Right.
and my pension was $10 million and I could just dick around. It was like
What a dream.
12 grand or something like that. So I'm like, my time was finite.
Right.
And nobody was going to hire me at ESPN as a baseball analyst to talk about the games I watched all summer when I was unemployed. But that one specific season, I know a lot about Major League Baseball, and I don't like baseball.
No, baseball's
I
boring.
hate it. The only reason I watched it is because there is a part of sports where it's like the no man's land of anything good except baseball's on.
Yeah.
So
Because there's so many fucking games. It's like 200 something, isn't it?
there's 162 games in the season,
you
unless
go.
they changed it, plus the playoffs, which, whatever. But, baseball, I think, still exists so that people can realize how terrible it is.
I was gonna say they can just realize that there are better sports to watch.
Yeah, like we've like they call it America's pastime, and I'm thinking it should be past.
Yeah.
And there may be a lot of people that are not going to agree with that opinion, that think, sitting and watching guys scratch their dicks and spit on the floor like barbaric morons while they stand in the batter's box for 7 years.
Give a couple of like.
Yeah. Like, what is this? And I think they finally started imposing times
Yeah, they have like a
on
shot
it.
clock now, and people got mad about that. It's like it needed it.
But they should. There's still a Yankees game going on from 1942. What the fuck? Like,
Babe Ruth is somewhere.
yeah. Seriously, they roll balls across the graveyard. It's terrible. It's terrible. So, no offense to you baseball players. You guys are doing great stuff with your lives, okay? Keep it up.
Doing God's work.
Keep it up. But anyways, so I had all those jobs, and I knew I needed something that was just normal.
Right.
And so so I'm looking on Craigslist, and I see a job for a landscaper. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was going to be on golf course. Okay, cool. I don't know anything about landscaping, but I read between the lines because it was for $8 an hour. So I was like, I'm just going to be mowing lawns.
Right.
And I said,
Cool.
I'm into that. I can do manual labor. I don't give a shit. At least it's honest. At least when I get out there, I know I'm just a fucking lawnmower guy.
Right.
I'll figure it out from there. And so I go to interview with Chris, and I walk into this it was a prop manufacturing warehouse,
Okay.
but he was subletting an office out of the front of this building from that company, who happened to also be one of his clients. So I got to work on some really cool props while I was working for Chris in the beginning, which was neat. Like I was building giant mushrooms and all kinds of cool stuff. But I walk into this room, and it's a circular table, big round table, and Chris is sitting at one spot on the table, and this guy Ryan, who you would learn about later, was sitting at the table as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ryan will come into the fold later, but we'll change his name for his own sake. So they're both sitting there at this table, and they're just text messaging, and they're not like I don't even exist.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there, and it's silent, and I'm like, so about that landscaper job. And Chris very briefly looks up and he goes, oh, yeah, we don't have that anymore. I was like, oh.
God damn it! Like the one that seemed promising.
Yeah, so I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking, here we go again, And he goes, but I got something else you could do. Okay, cool. And so that is how I met Chris. And I think this is a good spot to end it, and we'll go into what I started doing for Chris next time.
Cool.
But so that is the current installment of Bullshit. Thank you for listening to me rant about, nothing. One man's quest to stay employed.
Man, but some of those stories are some of the funniest though, because you're just like, who even hired this person? Like,
I know people have thought that quite often. Like
Yeah.
I get into the room and I start acting like me, and people are like, whoa. How did he
ever get a job?
How did he pass the interview?
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, and then we'll really end it. But I did recently tell you I had the idea of like I kind of want to just start going on job interviews
Yeah. We were
and
saying, like,
seeing
the
if
group interviews.
anybody would employ
Oh, it'd be
me.
hilarious.
But I was like, I'm thinking in my mind, first of all, I go in and be like, excuse me, do you mind if I record this interview for my own purposes?
Yeah.
And then see where it goes from there.
Just
You
to
know?
watch.
So, y'all be cool. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about how stupid we are, and tell them to join in for a couple laughs or whatever.
Fries,
There's self-deprecation sometimes, which
all
also
the time.
helps people feel better about themselves. So this is a motivational show as well. Just keep that in mind, and peace.
Later.